How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel. We're back with a new format. That means new gameplay reviews. Let's kick this off.
If you want 5% off any single or sealed product, head over to tier0games.com and use code GALZO5 at checkout.
And in today's gameplay review, we're going to be playing against Labrynth. Before we begin, hit the like button, subscribe. We're really close to 10k. Let's just get it over with so we can open that first edition Rise of Ludus box. So yeah, playing against Labrynth, they're playing furniture, they do open Ash, they win the die roll, and now you get a glimpse into my new deck profile that is probably going to be around this week sometime. There's a lot of videos, so I don't know when everything is going to upload exactly, but yeah, you're going to see the deck this week. You probably saw it already. So they start off with Extravagance, which is interesting because Prosperity did not get hit on the ban list, but yeah. So they started with this, they set Welcome here, then this deck plays a lot less traps than normal Labrynth. So they don't just set 5 usually. They kind of play with their monsters more, and they also have an interruption in hand. So they do set Punishment, Welcome, Lady, and then they have Lovely and Ash Blossom in hand still, which is good. So here, my thought process is, I know that this is Welcome, which is going to generate more monsters, probably like a hand loop, pop on the field, something like that. This I didn't really know what to expect, and of course Ash Blossom, which is why we played Crossout. So what I wanted to initially do here is to try to make the talents live, which means getting to Welcome and, trying to get them to activate effects, because they don't have that many monster effects, right? But this is why I started with Lost, because I really wanted them to shotgun something, which they didn't. So I just continued to normal summon a Luber here, Branded Fusion, and now I know this goes through, and my talents will be live even if it goes through. So I just, like, the next thing you can do here, just fire off the Branded Fusion. Ash makes the talents live and Crossout as well, and then they decide to chain Dogmatica Punishment targeting the Aluber, right? So that's really interesting. Punishment targeting the Aluber makes sense because now they're not going to be able to activate more effects because of Lost. Like, because Branded Fusion was Chain Link 1, which means that by the time the chain resolves, this is the last thing that happens, which means that you cannot respond or continue activating effects after this. So they go for the punishment, and then they can chain the Lady to set a normal trap with a different name from the trap that was activated from the deck. So again, really strong. D-Barrier. We're just going to try to get them to not have a turn by this point. They send the Bucephalus, which should get them a send for Garura and then draw a card, but they're not going to be able to activate it because of Lost. This is how Lost works, because Fusion Summoning was Chain 1. This is how it works. So I banish this, and I immediately go for Dragoon, because Dragoon is really strong. It can out this by just attacking, and I can also get a lot more advantage. And of course, I have Branded in red, which I decide to use as well. So here we have Chainlink 1 Lubellion. What do you discard here? So Imperm is going to be dead for the rest of this turn, and I also have Albaz in the graveyard. So how do I end on a Mirror Jade and Dragoon? The only way I can do that without paying any additional costs is to activate Branded Fusion now, because I kind of know their back row. They have one card in hand, and I'm probably not going to need a Chimera, right? Because this can't be destroyed, and these can't be destroyed, right? So the only thing I can do now is just, and I know the talent is live, which, I can rip a card out of their hand, leaving them on top deck, which is not good for them. So the only thing to discard is basically the Imperm, which is not going to be useful at all in this matchup. So this is what I decide to do. I chain, so Lubellion, chain 1, lost 2 to search. They try to activate Bucephalus, but I explained that they can't. And then I chain as chain 3, Branded in red, so it will all be in the same summoning window. So they can't still respond to that because I'm still fusion summoning, because this was chain link 1. I added Albaz off the Branded red, made it into a Mirror Jade, then grabbed the Mercurier. Fixed it. Some of the Dragoon resolved the chain. So now, what do? There's a Welcome here, right? There's a D-Barrier that they can't activate. I was kind of like scared about them having like another furniture in hand, but now they can't activate it because they need to discard it in another card, so that's fine. And yeah, activate on res the Mirror Jade here, because this can't be popped, right? Because they control set cards, so it can't be popped. And I need to go. I can go for really big damage here, leaving them on 2,000 with a negate. It's going to be pretty hard, and of course talents to rip the hand. So this is banished. We're still in main phase. They activate Welcome, and I know now they have one card in hand, Deep Barrier. This gives them a lot of advantage. So, and I don't need them or Courier because they're probably not going to activate that many monster effects. So yeah, just negate that, make it in 4,000, right? Then attack for 7. I can do that pretty surely. Talents to look at the hand, and it's pretty much over from there. So yeah, we go to game 2. This card is going to be a lot more impactful now. So opening evenly in Cosmic is good, but like no engine access. I think it might have been a mistake leaving Imperm here and not siding it out, probably. They have Nib, they have Wannabe and Imperm, really good cards. Extract to draw 2, set 3. They set Imperm, Punishment, and Big Welcome, and they have Wannabe to set another card. So now they excavate 5. Set the skill drain, put everything else back, and now they can also activate Lady whenever they want, and of course Big Welcome. So I draw Albaz for turn, which is not that bad because I can fuse with one of their monsters, but we're not scared of Droll anymore so far, like in this format. So might as well refresh my hand and draw a card, which is a Courier, which does nothing. So yeah, we go to battle. This one bounces, right? And then they're left on Skill Drain, which I know it's a Skill Drain because they set it with Wannabe, so I know exactly what that card is. And thankfully, I also have, Cosmic exactly for that. But I don't have anything to really play right now. I don't have any starter, so they activate in the end phase. So I just decided to pass here. I know that they have, like, the Lady, right? I have a Serenir, which makes me protected, and I kind of want the Serenir also to hit the graveyard because I have Retribution here, right? Which is good. So if this hits the graveyard, as soon as this hits, I can get access to Branded Fusion. So they summoned this. I just decided to pass on this because, they probably can't OTK me unless they go for, like, if they have a lot of traps set up, but I know this is skill drain. So I don't even set the Cosmic. There's no reason for me to set it to this turn because I know I'm going to need to get rid of the skill drain. So they attack. I thought they were going to understand that they shouldn't attack, but they did. Now I can get access to Branded Fusion. And they set Imperm and pass. They have a Nib as well. So now I open Cartesia, which means that I do have access to more engine. Of course, I have Branded Fusion here. So I try to start baiting out interruptions. My policy, like almost always, depending on the matchup, right? But usually in Branded, you can activate like 4 cards, and then your 5th card is going to be Branded Fusion. So you're going to squeeze out all the interruptions and then just activate Branded Fusion. So this is what I do here. Imperm here is just not doing anything, so might as well discard it here and bait the skill drain. Either bait the skill drain or another interruption, and this is exactly what it does. So this takes out 2 back row, right? Because now I chain Cosmic, and I have to chain Cosmic here, otherwise they get a set off of Lady Labrynth, right? Because it needs to be in the same, in the same chain, in the next chain link, right? After the card is activated, right here. You can see when a card is activated. So when it needs to be chained to that trap. So now I can't, and I get rid of the skill drain, and I have Albaz on the field still, so I can special summon Cartesia and keep going. So that's fine. Get rid of that. Basically, I'm like scot-free right now. I can go for game if I want to, and that's what I shouldn't have. This is another reason why I show you these matchups, because it was a mistake on my part not to overextend when I actually had game already. So Dragoon here. So I didn't have to go for Dragoon in this exact scenario. So if I go for like an Albion line, Albion, Lubellion, then I can change Cartesia, and I can end up on a board where I have Albion, Grand Guignol, Mirror Jade, maybe with a negate in hand too, which I probably don't need, right? I think in less than 5 summons, and OTK, because that's 8,000 exactly. I can manage this because it doesn't have any protection. But I don't do that. I go for Dragoon here because I want to pop this, inflict 3,000, then attack again for 3,000. And that would have been already game, but I extended. I did not play around Nibiru here. If I just don't activate that Cartesia, I win on like in this turn. Then, you know, end of main, get hit with a nib. So remember, another thing that you should definitely remember here is the fact that Grand Guignol on resolution of Nibiru can activate its effect. So I zero out, leave them in one card in hand. Again, the furniture build plays a lot less traps, so if you manage to run them out of resources, it's really good. Set in red, they top deck like the only card that kind of helps them, but here, this is why I said the in red. I have to go for Chimera here at the end phase for a pop 1 because I did want to leave this on the field. So I go for Chimera, draw 2, and this is an awkward draw, even though like now I draw the Harpies. So initially I'm like, yeah, target the back row because I can just attack over this. But then for a split second I hesitated and I said like, wait, maybe Ariana because I can use the Harpies on the back row. But you know, it's chainable, right? I knew what it was. So it was the right choice to pop the back row. Then they can still special summon the Lovely and just protect themselves. Now they can activate this to bounce, and then afterwards they can also draw a card. So I don't really have any access here to Engine. So they bounce the Queritus, they draw a card, they draw a Skill Drain. I just attack. Right now I don't really have anything to do. Even summoning the Quem won't give me any value. So I set the evenly matched, and I pass. So they draw another Skill Drain, and this is why the Harpies was so good to hold, right? Duster this, Albaz Diffuse, and it's GG's from there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this matchup. We're going to do a lot of more gameplay reviews against meta. Labrynth is definitely a top contender. This was a good game out of me. I guess Dragoon, still viable, right? Sometimes it's not the best line of play, but overall should be a good card to have in your deck. So leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. And one last thing, check out my new sponsor, sleevechief.te, the best sleeves in the market. Beautiful accessories if you want to kind of spice up your deck and pimp out your looks. You can definitely check them over there, Galzo5 for 5% off. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.